Any smart person knows that simply asking an AI chatbot to create a piece of content with very vague guidelines is going to give you incredibly mediocre results that are unlikely to help you achieve the objectives that you are looking to achieve, whether that be a piece of for a blog or your advertising copy or a product page or your website, whatever it is, you need to be able to understand not only what good looks like, but what you're aiming for, and then how to leverage AI in order to be able to create really strong copy, but not be reliant on it. Because ultimately, the best final outcome is going to be a fantastic blend of efficiency and an expanding of horizons that's gained from integrating AI and combining that with what makes you uniquely human. So when you're able to leverage both of these things together, then you're able to create not only faster and higher quality output, but something that is going to continue to perform and connect and achieve the desired results. Interestingly, Neil Patel has been doing, and his team rather, have been doing a lot of research on how different AI outputs perform in comparison to human or human assisted outputs. And by and far, those that have had the influence of humans and are not simply taking things directly from AI perform far better. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my top tips for how to use AI in your copywriting to not only make it faster and more efficient, but to also make it stronger and more powerful so that it's more pleasurable for you to write, so that it's more effective, and so that it helps you achieve your goals. So if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and dive into things. Hello, my name is Emma Shermer-Tamir. I am the CEO and co-founder of Marketing by Emma, and we have been toggling with, playing with, and toying with AI for years at this point. There were tools before ChatGPT came on the scene and changed everything, but ChatGPT has certainly given the average human far more ability, and not just ChatGPT, by the way. We also have Claude and a host of other AI chatbots as well that really empower the average person to be able to really refine the kinds of outputs that they get in a way that it's not just a pre-built formula like you have with some of those other AI tools out there, something like a Jasper or a Writesonic, for example. So what are some of the things that you can do to use AI to make your writing more powerful? First, and perhaps my favorite, is using it as a turbocharged thesaurus. It is so easy to get stuck on finding the right word to fit that particular sentence. And what's really cool with AI is that you don't just have to use it for a word like you would with a thesaurus, but you can use it for a whole phrase or even a whole sentence. So if you feel like this is what I want to say, but I don't know how to say it in exactly the way that I need to, you can ask AI to do that and rewrite it or just give you some different suggestions. And what's really fantastic about that is not only is it getting you out of your writing patterns, which every writer, even if they're very skilled and know how to adopt different voices and styles and techniques, still is going to fall into certain patterns. That's just natural to how they are. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but at the same time, it doesn't always fit the particular outcome that we're looking for. If you're Midwestern like me, then let me know. Is this something that you all do? I'm very polite to my chatbots. So I always say please and thank you when it's writing for me. So I just typed into ChatGPT, I'm trying to find a better way to say this. Can you please give me 10 alternatives for this sentence? The hills are alive with the sound of music. I don't know why my brain went to musicals, but there you have it. So I've now been given 10 options. The hills resonate with melodious sounds. Musical echoes fill the hills. And, this is obviously just for fun, but these are some giving me lots of different ways that I can think about this sentence structure or part of this sentence in a way that can really take my writing to the next level, because it's all about thinking about how can I use the words to achieve my desired goal? What kind of emotion am I trying to evoke in the person that's reading it? What kind of action do I want them to take from reading it? And then what are the precise types of words and language and psychology behind it that I can use to encourage the likelihood of that happening. And so sometimes, especially when we're very stuck in our mind, doing something like this is a great way to be able to think in alternatives and find that perfect little nugget. This is by far my favorite application. Number 2, as I mentioned, exceptional writers know how to write in different voices. This is a very difficult skill that does not come naturally to people, and it's something that you really have to learn how to do over time. But luckily, with these tools now, you can borrow other people's voices without necessarily needing to be that refined as a writer. And so the way that you would do that is you first of all, need to have a little bit of background knowledge to think, who are the different types of voices that I would want to emulate from? So you can do this in a couple of different ways. One is you can choose someone notable that would be known by the GPT. So you could ask it to write like Steve Irwin or Franklin Delano Roosevelt or Mark Twain. Alternatively, if you don't exactly know who you want to emulate, you can also ask it to be able to read a piece or pieces of content, analyze that style, and then write in that style. So if you don't have a specific person in mind, or that's not necessarily a notable person, this is a work around that to still achieve something within that vein. So this is asking the GPT to read, analyze, and then replicate. Now, anything that it's going to be spitting out after that, you're going to want to make sure that you are still modifying and adjusting. I don't think that I ever see something that comes directly from AI and think that it is complete as is. All facts need to be verified. All details need to be tuned and refined. And then opportunities to add in your own personal voice, perspective, stories, examples, etc., is going to be a really powerful way to help this stand out and connect and achieve whatever that end goal is that you have. Another alternative to this, so we said we can imitate a certain voice, have it analyze a piece or pieces of writing, and then imitate that type of voice. We can also ask it to follow different frameworks. So there's a whole variety of different frameworks that are out there to choose from. So for example, one common and very popular framework in the marketing space is PAS, or Pain Agitation Solution. So let's just ask the GPT. Someone is bothered by the sound of music coming from the hills. Please write a solution for this problem following the PAS framework. So now I'm getting the problem. You've noticed that the constant sound of music emanating from the nearby hills is becoming a persistent disturbance. Whether you're trying to relax at home or need a quiet environment for work, the unending melody can be distracting and frustrating. It's understandable how this incessant noise could start wearing you down. So anyway, this is just a silly example, but helps to demonstrate how this can be used to then follow different popular ways of being able to present and position a solution that you are trying to sell. So then once I have this, I could say, please use this information. One of the things that I always do whenever I'm asking AI for examples or outputs is I always ask for a variety of different outputs. So I don't just say, give me one example. I say, give me 10 examples. And then if they're not quite hitting the mark with what I want, then you can go about refining it. So you can say, make this more concise, make this evoke more curiosity, make this more emotionally charged and persuasive. So you can start to get things closer and closer to what you want through that additional prompting and adjusting. So now I have 10 Facebook ads for wanting to somebody who is bothered by the music coming from the hills. Now, these are not great ad copy by any stretch. And one of the big reasons for that is because we are not tailoring this to a specific audience. So that takes me to the next way that I really like to use AI to make stronger copy, which is to create a customer avatar or a customer profile and to give that and train the AI on that, and then have the AI write to that specific customer. So just like I talk about all the time, really persuasive copywriting requires a clear idea of who you are communicating to and who you are. And it's really when you have a defined sense of both of those, the customer avatar and the brand identity, that you're able to maximize your potential for connection and conversions. So if you'd like to know more about how to create a customer avatar, I will be sure to link that video. And I will also link a video talking about why brand identity is so important and how to create that as well, because you really want to have both of those locked and loaded if you want to take full advantage of these tips that I'm talking about today. So you need to have that customer avatar. Once you have a clear, solid profile of who you're wanting to write to, you feed that to the AI, you tell them this is the customer, and then you tell them you want to write whatever it is that you want to write for that customer as the target. So if we were taking the Sound of Music example, let's say that our customer avatar is a woman named Mary. She is in her 60s. She lives in rural Missouri, and she has a couple of young grandchildren that come stay at her house on the weekends. She is politically conservative. She goes to church on Sundays, and she is going crazy from this sound that is emanating from the hills. So if you have Mary and you are telling the ChatGPT to write Facebook ads targeted to Mary, the language is going to be very different. Let's take a look, shall we? By the way, this profile that I created, while specific, is still not as specific as you want to get, but this is just for the sake of an example so that we're not spending forever going through the customer avatar profile of Mary. But what a difference we get. So as the example one, without any details about the customer, we get turn down the volume on noise. Seeking serenity at home, discover our range of soundproof curtains and panels that promise to keep the peace. Enjoy a quieter home environment today. Find peace with our soundproofing. Mary, reclaim the tranquility of your Missouri home with our effective soundproof solutions. Perfect for peaceful afternoons with the grandkids. Discover more today. Obviously, this is highly targeted and personalized, so things like incorporating names or some little details may not be as helpful, but you can feel how the tone shifts, how this is targeted in a different way, and how things are far better. Like another, grandma's quiet time, silent night for silent prayers. Wow, I really like some of these. So this is just totally different and far more nuanced and directed and clear in a way that is going to not just be this generalized piece of copy, but something very specific that is going to speak directly to Mary. This is really helpful when your target customer is also not somebody that you have a lot of familiarity with, so you might not understand what they care about or the types of references that they have or the way that they use language. And this can start to give you examples of training yourself to think in the mind of your customer and to really be thinking about how can I get into the role of my customer and what they're thinking about and what they're worried about and what their fears and hopes and dreams are, and then how I can position what it is that I'm trying to sell to them and make that more effective. Great for powering through writer's block when you should never, ever have to struggle with a blank page ever again. So anytime that I find myself, my brain is just stuck and I can't think of what to write, I will go to AI and I will just ask it to give me some examples. And normally that's enough to start to get my creative juices flowing. But this, for me, has made creation of everything so much more enjoyable, because it can start to be really frustrating and stressful when you're staring at a blank page or when you're stuck on a word, and you really shouldn't ever have to be struggling with that anymore. In the same way that you can train AI to write to your customers, you can also train your AI to write from your own identity, from your own voice. So in the same way that you're giving it that customer avatar and that customer profile to be able to write something that's going to be more compelling to your customers, you can also train it on your own writing or on your own brand identity to have it write in the voice of your brand, ideally between the two. So let's just take another look at something instead of talking about this as an example. So I told ChatGPT, our brand is a 100-year-old soundproofing company that is wholesome, committed to strong family values, and very reliable. We're no nonsense and very humble, despite our strong reputation and business. And then I asked to write 10 Facebook ads promoting our business solution for the Sound in the Hills to Mary, as detailed previously. Your copy will be so much stronger with just the customer profile, but when you add in that brand identity as well, it's going to take it that extra mile, and it's going to give you really solid, good pieces that you can use for whatever it is that you are writing. And lastly, there's absolutely zero excuse for grammatical errors, spelling errors, any little details like that. AI can essentially be your writing trainer or coach. That's that editor sitting over your shoulder that is constantly helping you improve your craft and get better as a writer. So it can help with the small details and the big picture strategy, and really helping you not only become a better writer, but understand how to create better content and give you more time and space to be creative in the types of content that you're needing to create, in the strategy, in the types of examples and stories that you're going to add, and really make it all a far more positive solution. Now, of course, I always feel like I need to share a caveat, and I can't stress it enough. You shouldn't be taking anything directly from the AI, copy and pasting it. You should always be modifying it and enhancing it to make it as powerful as it could be. Again and again, we're seeing studies showing that humans respond more favorably to content that has a human edge to it. So utilize this gain not only in time and pace, but also in the ability to be able to bring what makes you unique to the table and to elevate your content to be as good as it can possibly be, rather than simply getting through it quicker because you're wanting to move on to something else. So let me know, what is your favorite way to use AI in your copywriting? What did I miss? What should I add? Drop it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and be sure to check out whatever YouTube is showing you next. And, if you wanted to subscribe and stick around, I would love that as well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.